In this lesson, we are going to quickly discuss a new control structure, the for each loop, or sometimes called the enhanced for loop for traversing arrays. Let's take a look at it. So this is the for each, or sometimes called the enhanced for loop. So what does this do? Let's recall what a regular for loop does on, say, an array of doubles. So let's say we have a double array, and we'll call this double array times 2. I don't know, fun name. And we'll go ahead, actually, let me choose a shorter name so I don't have to keep scribbling all the time. We'll go ahead and call it Ray, my good old friend Ray. And we'll go ahead and initialize it with some values. Let's go ahead and say 3.6, comma 2.2, comma 5.91. Okay, so just 3 simple values inside of this array. And recall that to traverse this array, I would do something like this. I would say for my int x equals to 0, x is less than array dot length, and then I would say x plus plus. And perhaps I would print it out, so I'd have an out.println, and I would go ahead and say my array at x. Okay, so an important thing to notice is that this is the value at array of x, right? So this is the value at x index. Okay, so this is not ray x. This is the value at ray of x. Now, the for each loop skips the extra steps and goes straight to the value. So a for each loop grabs the value and not the index. So a for each loop gets the value without an index. Okay, so how does this work? It works like this. We write for, and then we're going to write the type of value, right? So we're going to write the type here, and the type here is a double. And then we're going to give that value a new variable name. So we're going to go ahead and say double is our number. So double num. And then we use a colon, and we say what it's coming from. So our num from Ray. And then it will automatically pull out each number in a row. So instead of saying out.println ray of x, all I have to write is out.println of num. These are equivalent statements. So these two are equivalent. Same thing. You can do either one of them. And in this way, we're able to directly grab the value from an array and do something with it. This is really cool, but it has some drawbacks. So a couple of simple limitations of this are that we can't manipulate this. So 2 drawbacks, really. Or it's really one big drawback. No, it's 2. We can't manipulate num, or we can't change the value saved in num in the array. What do I mean by this? This is kind of confusing. So num gets it copies each value along the way, or it uses each value along the way at each index in array. But let's say I wanted to change the value of index 0. I wanted to change 3.6 to some other number. My for each loop won't let me change what's saved in the array. I can manipulate num. I can change that inside of my for each loop here and do math or do whatever else I need to it, but I can't save it back into the array. So num can't be saved back into the array. The other thing that we can't do is we can't get an index value. So if we want to find something, we can say that it's found, and we could return it. We could do something with it when it's found, but we can't say where it is in the array if we're searching for something. So if we're doing any of our searching algorithms, we can say we found it. We can do something when we find a value, but we can't say where it is. We have no idea where something is in our array. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about with arrays is arrays of objects in the for each loop with objects. So let's say I have a string array, and we'll call this string array words, and we'll give it the values of hello and world. Okay, so this is my string array, words in hello world. Okay, so this is how we do a for each loop with objects. We can say for, and again, we're going to put our type. So this is going to be a string that we're going to save. And I'm going to do something that's pretty common in computer science, is to use a shortened version of the plural. Oftentimes we do arrays in the plural, and then we do the for each loop using singular. So for string word in words, then we're going to go ahead and do a out.println. And actually just do a regular print. Let's not do a println, so they print on the same line. We're going to do print, and we're going to say word plus a space. And this will print out, of course, on our code trace. It will print out hello world on the same line. So it takes each word out of the string, or out of the string array words, and prints them to the line. Now this has the same limitations that the previous the previous thing we were talking about here. I can't speak words anymore. But these same things, in that we can't change the values in the array, except we can. Because if we think about a string is an immutable. So this is maybe not the best example. But if we have a mutable object, we could mutate that object. So let's go ahead and do one more here, just for fun. So let's go ahead and say we have circle objects, and we'll call this circles with a lowercase c, and we'll give it the values of some new circle and some other new circle. Let's write this properly. New circle and new circle. And that needs a curly brace. Okay, so we have this new circles. We'll do our for each loop for circle, lowercase circle, in circles, what do? Well, now we can actually manipulate that object because circles are mutable. Right? They are mutable. They're changeable. So now we can actually fix that first problem. So we could say circle with a lowercase c dot set radius. And we could set the radius of all of these circles to 2. And now we have been able to change the data inside because those are references. We haven't changed what the reference is. We're still referencing the same circle each time. We're not changing that reference. All that we're doing is changing what that reference is pointing to. And this gives us some powerful tools with the for each loop to be able to manipulate things inside our array. All right, that is the for each loop. I will see you guys in the next lesson.